Now at 9, students in Joplin return to school today. We'll see who welcomed them back to class. Plus, how a $100,000 grant will help the Peoria tribe provide meals to kids in need. And how you can help your child prevent injuries in sports as school returns to session.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. While most students in the area went back to school yesterday, students in Joplin returned to class today. Now this is a look from outside Soaring Heights Elementary as kids arrived this morning. Teachers and staff welcomed students back with open arms. Also there to greet them, members of the KOAM team and Joplin Police.
Oh, we are so thrilled that the first day of school is finally here. We've been patiently waiting for weeks, preparing our building for our students, and they're finally going to be here, and that's what makes it all worth it.
Administrators tell us 420 students are currently enrolled at Soaring Heights, and they expect that number to increase to about 450 by the end of the year. Well, Pitt State is keeping the back-to-school activities going with a community fair. This afternoon's fair gave local businesses and organizations the opportunity to showcase their services and connect with college students. It gave the students a chance to make and build relationships.
I am here looking for either like intern positions or like just a lot of social networking, and I'm here to make friends. I'm also here to meet a lot of people from Pittsburgh.
The students also had the chance to get free food and play games at the event. Organizations including local churches, Pizza Hut, military recruitment operations, and more were all in attendance. Well, PSU also held another fair today for students and local businesses. The campus featured a part-time job fair. It was a way to bring together students with part-time employers on and off campus. This casual recruiting event was held inside the Crimson and Gold Ballroom in the Student Center. Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty joins us now with a first look at weather.
Well, of course, for us today, another nice day outside. Temperatures have been fantastic. A good chunk below our average high for this time of the year, which we'll definitely take in the month of August. 84 was our high, 90 is our average record on this date, 101 set back in 2003. Let's go outside. It looks pretty good. 73 in Joplin, 72 in Pittsburgh. You got mid to upper 70s once you get into our southwestern counties. But we're going to have very comfortable temperatures tonight. Nothing's going on. Pretty much clear skies. We'll stick with the clear skies as we go through the overnight hours. Temperatures stay great the next couple days. As we go into Wednesday, we're going to have high temps mainly into the mid 90s or mid 80s once again. We'll be into the mid 80s again on Thursday. We do have a warming trend down the road, so we're going to be talking about that and some rain chances here in just a bit.
All right, thanks, Doug. The Peoria tribe in Miami received a grant of more than $100,000 to increase access to healthy foods for students in their early childhood program. KOAM's Melissa Alexis has more on how the grant helps.
This upgrade is really exciting because, of course, being a mom of a toddler, they are all about their snacks.
Christina Spriggs is a mom of one who looks forward to her child having more healthy food options at Woodland Academy because the grant money will allow for kitchen expansion and reconstruction.
I keep my daughter's diet as clean as I can, but with the options that we have here locally, it can be really hard to do that sometimes, especially certain times of the year, unless you grow it yourself at home and know what you're putting in it directly.
The grant will help the Early Childhood Center do just that. The new garden will allow them to grow organic food, and they'll be able to buy produce from local sources. The director of early childhood, Jolynn Kaiser, says this is beneficial for the health of the children.
Ongoing pesticides are not healthy for children. It's just really difficult to do with huge farms. And so by being able to buy from local farmers, we can avoid all of that and hopefully improve the health outcomes of the children that consume the food here.
Not only is the garden beneficial health-wise, but it will also be educational for the kids to learn about the process of gardening and disconnect from screens.
Watch the produce begin to form and grow and change color. If things like forgetting to water your garden bed, what happens whenever you don't water your plants? They die, but that's a learning opportunity for them as well.
Having the outdoor gardens that the children will be able to have a hand in cultivating their own food, I'm really excited about that. Kids need to be outside. My toddler definitely needs to be outside. She needs to run, put her feet in some dirt and grass.
Peoria Chief Craig Harper says he's proud of the Peoria tribe's commitment to meet the nutritional needs of the community. Reporting in Miami, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
Now, the Woodland Academy serves between 60 and 100 meals a day, and this grant will help them do that. The city of Goodman, Missouri is now on its third mayor and third police chief in the past year and a half. The town's police chief, Samuel Townsend, resigned from his position this week following a failed bid to become the McDonald County Sheriff. Townsend took over as chief last year after the town's entire police force resigned following the election of Mayor John Bunch, who resigned from his position in February.
And they come in, kind of like with the blue flame, and they come in really ambitious and work hard. And I don't want to just leave Goodman high and dry or anything of that nature, and leave times for all the hard work we've done of cleaning up the community to go in the toilet. So it was very good to be able to make contact with him several months ago and be able to train him for my position. So it'd be a smooth turnover, and he would know everything he needed just right off the bat, and so it'd be a smooth transition of protecting and serving the community.
Well, current Mayor Clay Sexton and the rest of the city officials promoted Assistant Police Chief Michael Akins to the position of chief. Now, Akins released a statement which you can read on KOAMnewsnow.com. Also with Akins comes the city's first canine officer, Rocco, who is a 5-year-old Belgian Malinois. Well, the Joplin Police Department is also getting some new canine officers. JPD today introduced Max and Bolt. Max is an 18-month-old German Shepherd. Bolt is a 16-month-old Belgian Malinois. Two new police dogs showcased their abilities today with live demonstrations, and their handlers also answered questions about how the canines will be used.
We need these dogs on the streets in Joplin. They're used a lot for narcotic searches, tracking of persons, and all building searches for persons if the call comes that way.
JPD says with the addition of these two new dogs on the force, they are back to full canine staff. For many families, back to school means back to fall sports. And as a parent, you always want to keep your kids safe. But what if your child is a student athlete? We meet a young football player who is ready to get back on the field after a broken bone sidelined him last fall.
You just gotta have fun.
The fun is just beginning for Hayden Murray as the fall football season gets underway.
He's ready for football. He's excited. It's his favorite sport. So he's ready to go far.
Hayden's mother, Ashley, says she's excited to see her 11-year-old don a Purple Dragon jersey again this year and hopes it's an accident-free season, unlike last year.
I was just running and then I kind of twisted my ankle, and then we checked it and it was fractured, and it was sprained a few times too.
It was scary because I've never really, he was one of my first kids with a broken bone.
While Hayden's broken bone only benched him for a couple of weeks, injuries like his are a constant concern for coaches.
Even as a league, we have plenty of kids, but at the same point, we're all about giving them a chance to play and having fun. We want kids to come back and play in purple. And if we have a lot of injuries, I don't think a lot of people would come back.
The Junior Dragons Youth League puts a big focus on hydration and teaches kids proper tackling techniques to prevent concussions. But as in any sport, injuries can always happen. Allison Reed is the manager of sports medicine for Mercy Joplin and Southeast Kansas communities. Her best advice for any athlete is to properly stretch and condition.
They get in the weight room and work out with the team and the coaches, and flexibility is a big one. Flexibility and mobility. So making sure they're ready for practices and games is a big one to prevent injuries, making sure they're strong enough.
Reed says it's also important to communicate with your team's trainer and coach.
Luckily, I don't think we've had a concussion in our league in the last 4 years, but I think just recognizing the symptoms, getting everybody on the same page, from the parents to the coaches.
A network that's all on the same team.
What are your goals for the season this year?
Just try harder, have fun, and do what I can do the best.
The best is yet to come.
Well, Reed stresses the importance of student athletes checking in with their school's athletic trainer, as they are often the first line of support. Well, coming up, what allergy sufferers need to know about the upcoming fall season in Missouri. The next few weeks, it could be rough for allergy sufferers. Right now, some Missouri health departments show mold is very high. Chris Bryant talked with an allergy specialist as we head into fall.
The fall season is right around the corner, and ragweed is the biggest culprit when it comes to fall allergies. However, there are some steps you can take to help relieve the symptoms of seasonal allergies.
A ragweed allergen is a pretty bad allergen. It starts about when school starts and continues throughout fall.
Exposure to pollen that comes from grass, weeds, trees, and plants can trigger allergic reactions with symptoms like a runny nose, sneezing, watery or itchy eyes, and nasal congestion. Those seeking relief have some treatment options from over-the-counter remedies to help. You can also try to limit your exposure.
There is 3 methods to deal with it. One is avoidance, which means, staying inside whenever pollen is high, using air conditioner, closing the windows. Another method is using medications. The 24-hour antihistamines that are available over the counter would certainly help, as well as, there is nasal sprays such as nasal steroids or nasal antihistamines.
It may involve trial and error when it comes to those over-the-counter treatments before making an appointment with a specialist.
Trying over-the-counter medications first, before seeing PCP is not a bad idea or a bad way to address this. If you have symptoms recurring every year, it really doesn't matter, regarding the weight you might want to get in, because next year it's just going to be the same thing all over again.
When it comes to non-urgent treatment, the best course of action is to speak to your primary care physician for steps you can take for relief.
Well, humans on a molecular level age in 2 major boosts, and that's according to a new study published in the journal Nature Aging. Researchers said people do not actually age gradually. Instead, most molecules in the body, including proteins and RNA, show accelerated changes at the ages of 44 and 60. One bottom line from the study says that people getting close to 60 years old should keep a close watch on carb intake and drink enough water to maximize kidney functions. A self-adjusting brain pacemaker could help treat symptoms related to Parkinson's disease. That's according to a new study by the National Institutes of Health. The implanted device, regulated by the body's brain activity, could provide continual and improved treatment for symptoms like involuntary movements. Well, Doug is next with a complete look at your forecast. And later, the Colgan Panthers look to repeat last year's undefeated regular season. We're going to check in on their second practice of the year.
Well, of course, it turned out to be a nice Tuesday for us today. High temps into the mid-80s, which we'll definitely take. Average high is about 90 degrees. Great shot of our Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex Tower Cam. Downtown, 7th and Joplin Street, looking northeast through downtown. You can see a light easterly breeze, but overall, it's turned out to be a pretty good evening. Temperatures, fantastic. Past couple days, mid-80s yesterday, mid-80s, 4 highs today. Our official high was 84 degrees. It still feels fantastic. 70 at Monette, 72 at Cassville, 75 in Anderson. We got 77 in Veneta, 76 in Miami, 72 in Pittsburgh, 75 in Neodesha. Let's go outside. Here's 7th and Rangeline, 73 easterly winds, light at about 5 to 10. They're going to stay light as we go through the overnight hours tonight. All right, great temperatures sticking around at least the next 2 days. So let me walk you through it. We start tomorrow morning, 62, 63 degrees. Nice warm up, partly sunny skies, near 80 by noon. During the afternoon, very similar to what we had today, about 85, 86 degrees. Tomorrow night, we back down again, lower 60s, very comfortable. You can actually open up the windows briefly for about 6 hours. And then we'll start 62, 63, and then warm up again. Partly sunny skies on Thursday, high temps 85, 86 degrees, 85 Neosho, 87 in Welch, Yates Center up to about 84 degrees. So it looks pretty good. Even Thursday night, temperatures are going to be very nice as we dip back into the mid-60s. We will start to see a slow warming trend behind that, but at least the next few days look good. 64 tomorrow, 78 by noon, high temp, 86 degrees. We had some clouds out there earlier. Nothing going on now. The entire Central Plains look pretty good. Still dominated, big dome of high pressure. It's shoved back toward the west a little bit. So it inches toward us as we go through the rest of the week toward the weekend. Now rotating around that area of high pressure. It goes clockwise we get these waves that rotate around, giving us some hit and miss showers. That's what we're going to have again as we head into the weekend, also early next week. This system pulls in the northern parts of the plains early next week, and our high pressure kind of breaks down, but we're still going to have some chances for showers and thunderstorms. So let's move into about Friday. First day, we get back into the 90s for highs. Friday night, Saturday morning, hit and miss showers, a few thunderstorms, clear out, mid-90s again Saturday afternoon. Much of the same Saturday night into Sunday morning, some hit and miss showers, and then we climb mid-90s once again. Let's do it again on Monday. Scattered thunderstorms, clear out, and as we should go right around 90 degrees for afternoon highs. So yes, it gets hotter. Is it extreme heat? No. Do we still have chances for rain? Yes. Re-entering the forecast by the weekend. Let's go 86 tomorrow, 87 on Thursday, 92 on Friday, 95 Saturday, 94 on Sunday. So it does get hotter, but again, it's not extreme heat, so we can handle that. Plus, like tonight, down to 62. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's almost jacket weather.
It's nice. That's why you can open up the windows for a little bit.
I like it. We'll take it. All right, thanks, Doug. Well, coming up, we'll break down what you need to know about the rising cost of groceries. It's a topic that impacts every American voter. Get ready to hear a lot about grocery prices and the run-up to November's elections, but what's the real deal with food prices and inflation? Karen Kafa has the story.
The high costs that matter most to most Americans, like the cost of food.
An element of the economic debate that hits every voter. Last month, overall inflation slowed to its lowest level since March 2021. But when the rate of inflation decreases, prices are still rising, just at more normal rates. Grocery inflation peaked at a year-over-year increase of 13.5% in August 2022 and has steadily fallen. Last month's report from the Bureau of Labor Statistics showed overall grocery prices up 1.1% year-over-year. But Joseph Balagtas, professor of agricultural economics at Purdue University, says individual items will still see spikes based on supply, demand, and external factors. Like eggs, for example, up 19% over 1 year ago because of avian flu.
Egg producers, poultry producers have to destroy birds, flocks of birds that would otherwise lay eggs and produce chicken meat. And so we have a reduction in the supply of eggs and higher egg prices.
And beef and pork prices, too, mostly due to summer demand. Grocery prices are up about 20% since the pandemic year in 2020, which means a $100 grocery cart now costs $120. One bright spot for consumers, wages are growing faster than food inflation. For Consumer Watch, I'm Karen Kafa.
Well, Alaska and Hawaiian Airlines cleared a major regulatory hurdle in their plan to merge. An overnight deadline passed for the Department of Justice to file a lawsuit to block it following a regulatory investigation. A nearly $2 billion deal was announced in December. The DOJ opened a review in February, and the merger is expected to expand Alaska Airlines' presence internationally and broaden North American travel options from Hawaii. Up next, the price of a gold bar hits a milestone. We'll tell you how you could be a secret millionaire. For the first time, a bar of gold is worth $1 million. The price of gold rose more than $2,500 per troy ounce on Friday. It's the first time gold has reached or exceeded that price, and that means a gold bar weighing 400 troy ounces is worth more than $1 million. An important note, not all gold bars weigh that much. A troy ounce is a unit of measurement used to weigh precious metals. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports is coming your way. We'll hear from some of the speakers at Day 2 of the Democratic National Convention. Plus, Ukraine pleads with the West for more support as they advance further into Russian territory.
You're watching the 4 States Most Watched News.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. Convention delegates cast their symbolic votes for Vice President Kamala Harris on the second night of the Democratic National Convention. after a virtual vote nearly 2 weeks ago. Fox News correspondent Connor Hansen has more from Chicago.
The ceremonial roll call vote for a Democratic nominee started with President Biden's home state and ended with Vice President Kamala Harris's. It was another symbolic passing of the torch moment here at the convention. Delegates from Delaware to California and every state in between all casting their ceremonial votes and celebrating Vice President Harris as the Democratic presidential nominee. A historic moment, with Harris being the first woman of color to lead a major party's presidential ticket.
I am thrilled to reaffirm Kamala Harris as the Democratic nominee for President of the United States.
While delegates celebrate Harris in Chicago, the vice president and her running mate Tim Walz are in nearby Milwaukee, rallying with voters in the crucial battleground state.
I thank everyone there and here for believing in what we can do together. We are so honored to be your nominees. This is a people-powered campaign, and together we will chart a new way forward.
Back in Chicago, the night's theme is A Bold Vision for America's Future. The Harris ticket says it is looking forward, while former President Trump is looking backwards.
You run a campaign based on fear like them, you're going to run into a little trouble when you run into a campaign that's based on joy.
But Trump is firing back.
When I return to the White House, we will stop the plunder, rape, slaughter, and destruction of our American suburbs, our cities and towns.
Also taking the stage on the second night of the convention, Second Gentleman Doug Emhoff, Michelle Obama, and the headliner from his home state, former President Barack Obama. In Chicago, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
Well, former President Donald Trump was in the battleground state of Michigan today, day 2 of the counter-programming to the Democrats' convention. He's in the middle of a battleground state blitz, one of his biggest campaign weeks this year. Over the next few days, he's scheduled to hold events in North Carolina, Arizona, and Nevada. The former president's running mate, J.D. Vance, is campaigning in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Israeli leaders have accepted a proposal for a ceasefire in Gaza. That's according to Secretary of State Antony Blinken, who is in the region. He says Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu endorsed a U.S. plan intended to bring Israel and Hamas to a final agreement. Yesterday, Blinken urged Hamas leaders to accept it and end the fighting, but one Hamas official told CBS News they, quote, did not receive any new proposals. Ukrainian troops are continuing their offensive in Russia's Kursk region. It comes as President Volodymyr Zelensky asked the West for more weapons to help in the fight. Fox News correspondent Madison Scarpino has more.
Ukrainian troops are advancing further into Russia, taking nearly 500 square miles of territory in the Kursk region. President Volodymyr Zelensky says they have also captured a significant number of Russian prisoners in hopes of exchanging them for captured Ukrainians.
Our defensive actions across the border, as well as Putin's inability to defend his territory from such actions, are very telling.
Russian President Vladimir Putin vowed to push the Ukrainians back, but so far, his forces haven't been successful. And now, Zelensky is asking Western allies to loosen restrictions on long-range weapons to allow troops to strike deep into Russian territory. The White House says while Ukraine's offensive in Russia is necessary, the U.S. won't change its approach.
The bottom line is this war can end if Mr. Putin would stop. He's the aggressor here. He's the one that went into Ukraine, a sovereign territory.
Meanwhile, Ukrainian officials say the restrictions are also preventing their military from fighting off Russian advances in eastern Ukraine. Moscow's forces are also closing in on a key defensive stronghold in the Donbas region. The fighting is forcing more civilians to evacuate their homes.
When we were leaving, there were hits and interceptions in the air. It was terrifying. We barely got out.
And in northern Ukraine, Russia launched a missile and drone attack overnight that hit energy infrastructure. In London, Madison Scarpino, Fox News.
A bit later, what parents should know about when you should keep your sick kids home from school.
Well, of course, it turned out to be a pretty good day for us today. Mid-80s for afternoon highs. Looks great right now. We're looking at downtown Joplin. Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex, Tower Cam, looking off toward the north and to the east. Temperatures have been great. The past 2 days, we've had highs into the mid-80s, which is below our average high for this time of the year, and we're going to stick with that as we go through the next few days. Very comfortable right now. 70 in Monette, Carthage 72, 74 in Parsons. Veneta is sitting at 76 degrees. We can go outside. Here's 7th and Rangeline, 73. Easterly winds are light at about 5 to 10. And as we go through the next couple days, expect to see these fantastic temperatures once again. We start lower 60s on your Wednesday. We get up near 80 by noon, partly sunny skies, and then most of us about 84, 85 degrees. You can see a little bit cooler in northern counties, a little bit hotter once you get into our southwestern counties. Tomorrow night, we drop back lower 60s. Once again, a few clouds. On Thursday, it looks pretty good as well. Partly cloudy skies, temperatures right back up into the mid-80s. So really no complaints as we go through the next couple days. Day planner for you. This is going to be on your Wednesday, 64 in the morning, 78 by noon, high temp of 86 degrees. Not a whole bunch going on. We have pretty much clear skies out there right now. We have a few showers up across parts of Iowa and then out across parts of Colorado. Besides that, we look pretty good. Big dome of high pressure is in charge, and it's kind of pushed back toward the south and to the west, but it creeps back toward us as we head into the weekend. We still get these weak waves that rotate around it, giving us occasional chances for showers and thunderstorms. But as high pressure gets closer to us, we return into the 90s, and then high pressure slowly breaks down as we go through next week. So let's look at us bouncing back into the 90s. This will occur by the time we get into Friday. So low to mid 90s for highs, scattered thunderstorms to start the day on Saturday. Saturday afternoon looks okay. Mid 90s, hotter, not extreme heat. Hit and miss storms again on Sunday, mid 90s for highs. Hit and miss storms again on Monday, and then temperatures near 90 for afternoon highs. So pretty consistent as we head into the weekend, just a little bit hotter. Let's go down the road. Mainly 90s next week. We are going to have chances for hit and miss storms each and every day. Of course, the end of next week, we move into Labor Day weekend. It's going to actually be cooler. Highs mainly into low to mid 80s on Labor Day weekend. We're still going to have chances for storms. That first week of September, cooler, and then we're going to return to the heat the second and the third week of September. 86 for us tomorrow, 87 on Thursday. Friday, 92, 95 Saturday, 94 on Sunday with those hit and miss storms.
Right, but enjoy those evening temperatures. That's for sure.
Looks pretty good.
We'll take them. Thanks, Doug. Well, coming up in sports, Pitt State Soccer holds its second preseason scrimmage. Plus, the Colgan Panthers hold their second practice of the 2024 football season. John Dales has those stories and more up next.
It's day 2 for fall high school sports practices in the state of Kansas. Our 2024 football season previews continue with one of our local schools that put together an undefeated regular season and came within one win of the state title game a year ago. Colgan has its second practice of the fall season after school gets out this afternoon. The Panthers need to replace most of their starting lineup from a year ago. They went undefeated in the regular season and lost at home in the state semifinals, but that loss is serving as motivation for this year's Colgan Panthers.
It's a big motivator. I think we went out there and got our punch in the mouth a little bit. We weren't really expecting that. So I think this week we just need to really hit everything hard and just expect we're the underdogs.
Huge motivation, no doubt. We're trying to put in work every single day so that this time of the year, we don't come up short. We make it all the way there. That's what we're working towards.
Very fortunate to be at a place like this where the expectations are high every year, and every group that steps in is expected to to compete and do things the right way. And this group has really done a good job of taking those high expectations on. And so we're really excited about the group and the success that we've had at the JV level the last 2 years. It's not something we take lightly, and I think that goes to show that the kids take it serious and they want to be good when they get their chance.
Pittsburgh State women's soccer is gearing up for its first season as an NCAA program. The Gorillas play their second preseason scrimmage this evening. PSU is in Springfield taking on Evangel. They compete at the NAIA level. Things got started at 7, and the Gorillas faced Johnson County Community College in their first scrimmage. That was on Saturday. Neither team posted a final score from that contest. Same deal tonight. Pitt State's first official game is 2 weeks from Thursday. Over to college football. The future is officially here. Oklahoma State Athletics announces this morning the Cowboy football team will sport a 1.5 square inch QR code on the back of each player's helmet. This links to the school's NIL fund in an effort to raise money for the players and for the program. In Major League Baseball, we're into the final month and a half of the regular season. The Royals are in prime position to earn a playoff berth. Cardinals, on the other hand, have a ton of work to do, and they continue digging that hole a bit deeper tonight. The Redbirds fall to the Brewers 3-2 at home. Their only runs of the night come on a 2-run homer off the bat of pinch hitter Matt Carpenter. St. Louis is now 3 games below 500 after losing 7 of its last 8. Over in the American League, this game not over yet, but the Royals trail the Angels 7-5. They're running out of at-bats to make up that deficit. Kansas City tied the game at 2 in the bottom of the 4th inning, but LA scored the next 5 to open up a 7-2 lead, and a loss tonight would snap the Royals' 5-game winning streak. Back to Colgan football, what I was talking about earlier. Brand new team this year, most of their starting lineup gone, but you heard Coach Seamatter talk about it. Even at the JV level, they've had a ton of success over the past few years, so they're definitely in good shape.
Well, and you know, in practices, they may not have been the starters, but they had to play against the starters.
That's right.
They were getting that competitive level every day last year.
That they were.
And they're ready to go. All right, back with more news after this. Here's a pop quiz for parents. When should a child stay home sick from school? Educational experts say it can be hard for students to remain consistent in their studies if they are constantly out of the classroom. Fox News' Kevin Ureski takes a closer look at what doctors say parents should know when it comes to giving kids a sick day.
With the new academic year getting underway, education isn't the only thing being spread in the classroom. With many schools reporting high levels of absenteeism since the COVID-19 pandemic, health officials are giving parents a refresher course about when to keep sick kids home.
An AP analysis of data from 40 states and D.C. shows absenteeism got worse in each state except Arkansas from 2018 to 2022.
Many districts continue to report high rates of absences, with parents more cautious about sending their kids to school even when they're feeling slightly ill. The most recent guidance by the CDC calls for the public to treat COVID-19 like the flu or RSV. Some health experts hope it encourages fewer students to miss class, even if they have mild symptoms, including a runny nose, headache, or cough. However, the American Academy of Pediatrics says children with fevers should be kept out of school. If they've been fever-free for 24 hours without the use of fever-reducing medications, they're okay to return to class.
It's good to stay up on your health and your wellness.
Medical experts say the time to take children to the doctor is...
If they're starting to sneeze more, cough more, be a bit tired, it's important to recognize those signs early, get them seen, and determine if they have caught something.
Meanwhile, regular exercise, a healthy diet, and plenty of sleep are great strategies to help boost kids' immune systems. Kevin Ureski, Fox News.
Well, coming up, Lara Croft returns with a new animated series. We'll have the first look. A sci-fi horror tops the box office. A post-apocalyptic horror movie. First look, plus the return of Lara Croft and more is in today's Hollywood Nation. Here's Fox.
Romulus rules the box office, Brown goes book to screen, and Lara Croft returns in today's Hollywood Nation.
Sometimes I swear you have a death wish.
Today's first look star a globe-trotting adventurer. Netflix released the teaser trailer for Tomb Raider: The Legend of Lara Croft, with the title character voiced by Haley Atwell. The animated series picks up after the events of the Tomb Raider video game Survivor trilogy and premieres October 10th. Speaking of Netflix, Deadline reports Millie Bobby Brown is developing a feature adaptation of her debut novel, 19 Steps, for the streamer. According to Deadline, Netflix declined to comment, but they report the Stranger Things star will produce the project and is eyeing to star. The World War II novel, drawing on the experiences of Brown's grandmother, was published in September 2023. Another first look is a peek at the horror film Azrael, starring Samara Weaving. Set many years after the apocalypse in a world where no one speaks, the movie follows a woman racing to survive after escaping a mysterious cult. It opens in theaters September 27th. In box office news, the Xenomorphs are taking over. Alien Romulus debuted at $41.5 million and took the #1 spot at the domestic box office, breaking the 3-week streak held by Deadpool and Wolverine. The latter Marvel movie recently topped The Joker to become the highest-grossing R-rated movie in history.
Want to talk about what's haunting you, or should we wait for a third-act flashback?
In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of a poodoo fawn at the Queens Zoo. Cute. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.